Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, and welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth.
It's not care. I say it's not, and not care.
And I said free, and I said fee. So I said something else. It was different. It was not free. It was not free.
It's 1 in the morning. You look like you're still on the island somewhere, girl.
Yeah, no, it's the hair. And it's the spring summer feel outside. I'm always be naked during the spring and summer. And for the show, I'll probably give you guys some arm. But yeah, it's hot outside. It is hot. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot that you can't have the air conditioner balanced with what's outside. You know how like with the cool, you can do like a quick balance. Like, okay, it's 70 degrees outside. I can do like a 70 or not even turn it on at all. Put up the windows and not get that outside smell because it's fresh breeze coming out. But when it's hot, it's like people are cooking outside. And where I live, those people cooking outside, that just whips right into my...
It smells like cooking wet dog, don't it?
Yeah, well, let me tell you, honey, they was really cooking on the grill yesterday, okay? They was cooking on the grill yesterday at the pool. And me and my sister, I was like, yeah, let's go check it out. And then we went down there and it was like, They were every corner. I'm like, where are we going to sit? We're not going to be able to go anywhere there. They're like, one is like, I mean, it's a speck or two of us out there. And I was like, yeah, but look where they're sitting. And they're facing the opposite side of the pool. And they're just sitting there talking to each other. In a corner.
So basically was Get Out Part 2 that you walked into.
It was giving me, and then I went to go see like, okay, let me see who's at least by the grill area. So I said, let me look towards the grill. And I looked over towards the grill and I was like, what is that on the, are they cooking like, it was just giving me like kale, like, why do you need the grill for those things? Like, why? We don't need y'all flipping a carrot. I don't even eat red meat like that. But I'm looking like, where is it? Like, and then that brought me to a post that really set, like, put things in perspective for me. We're the adults now. And ever since we've been the adults now, we haven't been planning cookouts. You know what we're doing? We're going to brunches, as I did yesterday. We're trying to be on yachts. We're trying to live the soft life out of our means, because now we went from black luxury to soft life now, or something of the sort. So now we're living soft lives out of our means. When you know you can get about 5 of your friends to go buy the meat, buy the sides, and pull up to your girl first. Mark your territory. Okay? And have that cookout at the apartment complex. Or if you have a house, you know, to make it cheaper, you do it at your house so you don't have to go waste no gas while gas is expensive right now. Go on all up in Atlanta, be in traffic and stuff. You can invite your friends over to your space, somewhere to be, okay? And then they each bring a side. And I know, they could make it people that you trust. Only appoint people that you trust to make the sides. And to bring, the chicken and all that good stuff, or the pre-seasoned meat, and you got a grill outside. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the vibes. Now you're playing the 90s music. Not only watching it on social media, but you're actually living in that moment, right? Right? They're not doing that anymore. They being us, we're the adults now, and we just ain't doing that. We want that soft living. We want that, good for TikTok. And then when we see other people actually living their lives, actually grilling and stuff, we'll like it and move on. And, I think it's crazy. We've become the adults, and they not buying them sandals no more. The men aren't buying them sandals. Now they in hot boy pants. That's the summer.
Girl, you got to get the name right. It's called Booty Daddy shorts.
Hoochie daddy shorts. Hoochie daddy shorts, okay? And let me tell you something about Caribbean men. They've been doing hoochie daddy shorts. But these shorts that they got on right now in America, that they selling on ASOS and what is it? Fashion Nova for men, yes.
She.
and it's Shein, y'all. It is not Shein. But yes, on Shein side, they selling them, and they cut up at the sides right here. So it's giving you and I love a diamond cut for myself because I don't have any hips. But the men got a diamond cut too.
Mm-hmm. The thighs all out. I love it.
And I'm like,
let me have a thigh tattoo too. Oh God.
You see, I would expect, and it's crazy. See, I wouldn't. I like gray sweatpants. This is not the season for gray sweatpants. It gets hot down there. You guys get hot down there too. So you need to let it breathe. So I'm okay with the shorts being shorty, but when they in the crease, I don't need to see like it's up in there. Like it's me and you can't have natural shorts.
Talking about the male camel toe.
I can't. No, from the back.
Oh yeah, nah.
Me and you can't be sitting up together. Me and you can't be. Anyways, happy Tuesday, you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed your Memorial Day. I hope that you guys at least enjoyed a cookout with your family, friends. I know COVID is still happening, so I hope that you guys are taking precaution as well. What did you do for your weekend, Bubba?
Oh, let's see. I DJ'd Saturday for a day party, which was really fun. All the Hoochie Daddy shorts was out, so I enjoyed seeing it a little bit.
Well,
so
it was a day party at the pool?
Yeah, at Bulldogs. Everybody know what Bulldogs is. The gayest club in Atlanta that's been here forever.
Oh, I'm like, I don't know what Bulldogs is. You got to take me.
Look, bro, you know what? I should have called you and told you to just bring your ass on. You would have had so much fun.
Yeah.
You would have been in your element.
Yeah, you didn't tell me, so.
My bad, shawty. My bad.
But you did DJ, though. How was that?
Yeah, it was fun. It was cool. It started off a little slow. Of course, we never go nowhere on time. So it started at 4. People didn't get there until 6. My set ended at 7. And of course, they wanted me to go over. I said, nope, this money say 7:30. So that's all y'all getting today. Hello.
Now nowadays we are not giving you an extra time. No, nothing. If, you're not. My nail's kind of short now, so I can't really make the sound like I used to. But if you're not giving me the coin,
sure.
So no, these are short. I went full stiletto. It's not my usual like SWV long curve.
Okay.
It's just full stiletto, and it's just kind of boring at this point.
I like them. They look
good. But anyway, thank you. That's me being 32. This is the mature in my fingernails. But it might not last too long. I might be back on my SWV. But there was a lot of news as we were taking our as we were taking our breaks, and I hope that you guys again enjoyed your breaks. But there was a lot of news and a lot of updates that were going around. But these are the few things that I wanted to talk about. And I'll start with this one. I'm gonna do the Lake Lanier story. Okay, so. Mm-hmm. I wanted to talk about this only because I think that every time a story comes up, in Lake Lanier is a man-made lake in the, I think, Forsyth, Georgia area. Forsyth, am I saying it right, Bubba?
Forsyth County.
Forsyth County. And that's just a little bit in the metro area of...
That I am sick and tired of the left-wing media and, frankly, people in this room today.
I don't know. That's crazy.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know what that was, but I felt that. I'm like, me too.
That won't Forsyth. It's been a while. I hit the wrong
Okay. Let's dust it off. Okay. So, back again.
We missed you, Dwayne. It's okay.
We did.
Okay. Look. Yeah.
We did. So, here's the thing. Like, Lake Lanier is a man-made a lake that a lot of people use as a beach. There are little things on the sides of it. I haven't been. I have been, but it was so long ago, long ago, and I didn't do anything there. And I heard there's like Margaritaville now on there. Kids are partying. Kids are underage and partying on boats and things like that. And every time the sun starts shining in that area of Atlanta. people die over there at Lake Lanier. It's like Lake Lanier is waiting to swoop people up. So I'll give you the story that happened over the break. So the Georgia Department of Natural Resources has confirmed that a 20-year-old man drowned Sunday afternoon at Margaritaville on Lake Lanier. The man has not been identified by officials. Game wardens used sonar to find the man's body, which was recovered by the Hall County Fire Department. On Saturday, a 5-year-old drowned in Allatoona Lake after witnesses said they were playing on a float. Lake Lanier was created, and this is a little history about Lake Lanier. Lake Lanier was created in 1957. In order to flood the area or to make the lake, the U.S. government displaced over 700. And we're going to say 700, mostly black people, and had to relocate 20 cemeteries, including bodies, but they didn't manage to move all the grave sites. At the bottom of Lake Lanier lies a small village called Oscarville, Georgia. It was a thriving village that was predominantly black owned, the very same village that the 700 families were displaced from. Mm-hmm. Now, Oscarville, all right, Oscarville. I had to find out from Oscarville. Now, every spring, summer, fall, every spring and summer, we will see a lot of these stories come up about Lake Lanier, honestly. Yeah. And what happens is Oscarville gets drowned out. They'll just say, "Oh, it was built upon a black city. It was they had to drain out or put in and build it on top of," but they never really go into where Oscarville or who Oscarville was. And so Oscarville was another black city that was also, caused black people by the force of white people to leave. So here's the truth about it. And so as reported by the Gainesville Times, so there's an area called Gainesville, Georgia here as well. And as reported by the Gainesville Times, Oscarville is a community that once stood in the northeastern Forsyth part near the border of Hall County on a portion of the land later used to build the lake. Before 1912, there were nearly 1,100 black residents in Forsyth County. 58 of them were landowners. That's talking about generational wealth, baby. 109 black residents rented or owned farms. Other black residents worked in Cumming as craftsmen or other laborers. Some white residents in Forsyth saw this community as a sort of threat. Nothing new. Violence led essentially and every black person to flee Forsyth, even those who owned land by the end of the year. 2 assaults against white women were reported in the county. The first alleged assault took place in September 5th, 1912, when a woman reported that 2 black men had assaulted her in Cumming. And Cumming is another area in metro Atlanta. It's not Atlanta. Just days later, the body, an 18-year-old white woman, was found in the woods near Oscarville. Several black residents were named as suspects for the alleged rape and murder, including Ernest Knox and Robert Edwards. In an effort to provide safety, Knox was transferred to a jail in Atlanta while the remaining suspects stayed at the jail in Cumming. Rumors swirled and were reported in the papers that the black residents threatened to dynamite the town if there were any lynchings, causing a mob of angry white residents gathered outside the jail. They had one mission: to seize Edwards from the jail, beating him to death before he was hung by a telephone pole in town square. This incident started a wave of violence directed toward the black community in Forsyth County. Mobs threatened residents and fired guns into homes. Night riders, white residents who came at the night on a horseback, also burned down homes and threw explosives into nearby buildings, according to archived reporting by the Gainesville News and Dahlonega. I always get that. I see it on the sign every time I'm riding through Dahlonega Cummings. That exit right there, and I feel like I'm just going. And I'm like, what does that say? Thank you. And the Dahlonega nugget. So the black residents of Forsyth County were forced to start over, securing jobs, forced to start over. This is them running the people out of Forsyth County, moving them out of that area of Oscarville and into the Gainesville area. So the black residents of Forsyth County were forced to start over, securing jobs and opening businesses where they could in Gainesville. And those who owned land in Forsyth no longer felt safe coming back to claim what was theirs. Moving forward, nearly 4 40 years. Through the process of preparing for Lake Lanier, the U.S. government acquired the rights to more than 56,000 acres of land in Forsyth and Dawson counties to make room for the 38,000 acre lake and more than 700 miles of shoreline. That meant forcing the remaining folks out of their land. About 24 of the nearly black landowners of Forsyth County at the time were able to sell their land. 24 of them. The other properties have no record of sale, and some believe the abandoned land was simply taken by white residents. Yep. That is what Lake Lanier was built on top of. So,
and I'll say this as well too, Rebecca, because I love that you found this information, because I think last week, 2 weeks ago, I was just doing some research on Lake Lanier, and I've watched like dive videos of people going down there that you still see lampposts. There's a church still built down there. You see street signs as well too. So all of this stuff is still under the lake, and they wonder why people always die in the lake.
They are them spirits of ancestors that never got what was theirs and that were forced to be outside and moved. This is what I'm talking about all the time. Now, granted, this happened in 1912, but this is a history that many people do not know. And the people who are in the area of that area that are white know the history of that area, but they never will say there was a black community that once was thriving here. They are going to claim something that was not theirs, and that's the history of America. I said this before. That's some of the essence that America is built off of. It's always claiming something that isn't theirs, and if they can't get it the way they want it, they will kill, steal, and destroy. Remove all historical facts about how this land was once owned by someone else. I mean, it is America's essence for real. It is America. You know, indigenous people still to this day have to fight for protecting at least remnants of their heritage, of their areas where they are at least kept in their family for generations and generations, because Americans already stole their whole country. Now, we talk about Oscarsville. That's just a small part of Georgia. Georgia is known. We know Georgia's history. When people say Georgia, we know that there are a lot of places outside of where we live today. Yeah. Just miles away, just maybe at least in the 50 to like 30 mile range, that you will see it's very racist right here where I am. I go all the time to downtown of where I'm at, and they always stare at me crazy. It feels uncomfortable.
Real quick. My mom and my dad just told me a story yesterday that they had in Riverdale, which is predominantly black. You would think that it's more black people there, but while they were at the store, excuse me, Mom was sitting in, I think, coming out the door, and Dad was sitting outside. So while my dad is sitting there, a white boy comes out and said, "It's a lot of niggers in there." And so my mom comes out, and my dad is just like, Daddy already can't see. My dad cannot see. So he's just like, did I just hear that? So then another white family comes out behind them, and they were like, oh, yeah, he's not with us. But yes, in a predominantly black town, it doesn't matter. It's closer than y'all think.
That's scary, really though. In a predominantly black town, what was it? Just a few weeks ago in Buffalo, we had the murders at a grocery store of a white person going into a place where black people were predominantly and shooting them down. So just to hear that gives me a pause for a pause, and that's scary.
And Rebecca, one last one that I just found out about too. My niece, 21 years old, they stay in McDonough, Georgia, which is further south of Atlanta. She was coming out of a racetrack down there. So while she's coming out, she's thinking that the white guy is holding the door for her. As she gets closer up to the door, the white man slams the door in her face, busting her lip. And if I'm not mistaken, said something derogatory as well too. Yeah. And
where was this? What area was this?
McDonough, Georgia. It's about maybe 20, 30 minutes south of Atlanta. Yeah, here it is. Listen, that you think that these things don't exist anymore. They do. They still exist.
And this is, this is problematic. And even on Memorial Day, we want to recognize the people who have gone. Y'all over there at Lake Lanier, there's people underneath that water that have passed and gone. That was not too long ago. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Forest Park or whatever it was, not too long ago. I think I am 32 years old. About 32 years ago, they were fighting because they wanted to integrate the area. They were fighting because of that. Oprah, I think, went out there to do a story. And what happened was they ran Oprah behind out. She went to go do that story, and then they told her if she's going to stay there, they're going to run. They done ran her up out of there right here. I'm 32, and this is about 32 years ago. So they did not want to. So this is fresh on people's minds. This is the way that Georgia functions. And if you do go, and then these areas too, if you're looking for a place that is affordable, these places are pretty affordable, right? Yeah. Outside of what's Atlanta right now. But they don't want you there. That every time you go online to look or whatever, they are claiming lands or areas that weren't theirs before, but they're claiming it. They thought Buckhead would be theirs, and they thought making Buckhead fresh and new would be great. Black folks came over there from other counties and towns and everything, and now white folks are trying to leave it abandoned to move towards other areas and gentrify those areas. And it's not fair, because black people have found areas in Georgia that they found solace and no issues and not trying to be pushed out and things. It's a lot. I don't like Georgia's history, but I do think that people should know about Georgia's history. Georgia's history is not really always history, because a lot of those things that we would think are historical and are foreign and people aren't living those lives anymore are still happening today. I seen a TikTok not too long ago about an area outside of Georgia, a small town, and there are a lot of small towns outside of the Atlanta metro area. In this area, there's still a restaurant that is functioning. If you pull up, they have the pictures of black people as monkeys and them eating watermelon and very racist things inside of the restaurant, pickaninnies and stuff like that, all in the restaurant. And the restaurant is still thriving and functioning in this small town that has Trump everywhere. It has the former President Obama in a racist light on the wall. And this little restaurant is still up and functioning to this day. So there are towns that are still acting as if black people shouldn't be around, should not be treated as people, and should be murdered. And then they have things about lynching also in that restaurant. So, yes. So for people to say, this was 400 years ago, and this was such and such years ago, and that was so long ago. Come on, y'all. We got people who are still living, who still remember things that happened in their town. We got people, we just were talking about the reparations due to the people of Tulsa. I think the same thing should happen for the people of Oscarville who were ran out of their towns. These stories are very, 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 they're not that quite uncommon. They're very common around the world. Around the United States. I can only speak for where we're from. Around the United States, these stories are very, very common. And so when we discuss these things and when we talk about things like Memorial Day, we don't talk about the black folks that really served for this country and lost their lives. They served in that way too, having to fight for their land and things like that, and still getting it taken away from them. We got so many stories that we could go by with those. But yes, racism is not only something that happened hundreds and hundreds of years ago. We are still living that every single day. We can look at that with the recent shootings and things like that. Now, discussing the recent shootings, I want to pivot to talking about bulletproof backpacks, as we are seeing another rise in media, another rise in media of covering these massacres, these mass shootings. I remember in 2017, I'm trying to remember it was the high school shooting, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was the high school shooting that happened in 2017. And I did a story when I was doing the first of Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon. And we covered a story, and I need the name of the school, but we covered a story about those high school kids, and I covered the story for, oh my gosh, me and Ben were just exhausted. But we started covering the story about bulletproof backpacks and how they were created, and how the Republican lawmakers were saying and the Republican leaders were saying this will be a way for us to protect our kids. They literally put the protection of kids in the hands of teachers and in the hands of the parents to put these book bags and send these kids to school and have these kids cover themselves with these backpacks. So these bulletproof backpacks are now in demand, and the demand is spiking following the devastating school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. Manufacturers are saying they are seeing a spike in their sales. 4 companies that manufacture the bulletproof gear said they've already seen more customers searching for these type of products since the gunman had opened fire in the local school, Robb Elementary. Azor Sheikh with Guard Dog Security, a company that manufactures and distributes various self-defense products like stun guns, alarms, and pepper sprays, said that they're seeing an increase in customers interested in the backpacks, which the company says can act as a shield in the event of shooting. Now, we're telling our babies, the elementary school kids, to shield themselves. And back when I covered this story of this is the school, I believe, in Fort Lauderdale. It's in Florida, the Florida school, and I can't remember the name.
Parkland.
There we go, Parkland. The Parkland shooting. We're telling them that they should be covering themselves. Now we're telling these babies they should be covering themselves with these backpacks. A person standing in the line of fire can hold the backpack up to their head or chest to deflect the bullets. Product illustrations on the website show the backpacks come in different colors and patterns and weigh less than 4 pounds, according to product descriptions. Guard Dog Sheikh said he has donated a portion of the proceeds received from the Bulletproof backpack sales to Make Our Schools Safe, a nonprofit started by the parents of one of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School victims in Parkland, Florida in 2018. I mean, if I got down to the bottom, I would have got the name of the school. But yes, so all of that, that's we crazy. Are telling our children, and here's my thing about it. Here's my thing about it. Hold on. Give me one thing. Give me one moment here. I'm just trying to. There's so many things I have on this thing about it, because there's one thing, but there's another thing. There's always going to be another thing. Listen, before we get to what we have here, now, here's my thing about it. All these Republican leaders to this day, from the history of all these school shootings, have stood on one thing, and that's going to be to deflect. Put it on somebody else. Always just put the blame, put the responsibility. Still make your kids go to school, though. But what we gonna do to make y'all feel better is put them in these, and to see kids associated with this kind of commercial or this kind, it does not sit right with me. Me neither. I don't want to see my kid wearing a backpack and police officers shooting at something or shooters shooting at something to practice. I don't like it. This is America. This is normal. We move away from what happened earlier this month, in Buffalo, and then we come down and we remove that story in the media altogether. Those people who lost their lives from this reckless gunman who went to the Tops grocery store and killed them because they were black. And the thing is, we can't keep both stories in the media. Both are gruesome. People losing their lives because they're black, and some psychopath walking into the school because whatever the case may be, and shooting off these kids, children, these babies. The developing story of these police officers actually going in, grabbing their kids when they heard about the shoot. This is actual and factual, y'all. This is actual and factual. This is part of the development of the story of the school shooting, and these police officers going in, grabbing their kids when they heard about the shooting, because some of these police officers had their kids locally in the school. They grabbed their kids and then didn't do much more because they thought that the shooter was no longer a threat, and even though the kids were still calling 911 from their cell phones from within the school. Oh, the officers did nothing in between that time. This is actual and factual. This has been confirmed.
And Rebecca, I just found this out this morning that, if I'm not mistaken, the police chief called off that it was an active shooter, even though that they were kids still in the damn school calling 911 and saying, I'm in the classroom with victims. I'm in the classroom with 8 or 9 kids that's still alive, and you freaking called it off.
Yeah, this is true. They did. And so this is something that we have to. What's happening? There's a big deflect happening, even now. During a lot of the conversations that are surrounding this, it's like. It's interesting to see how the NRA is trying to spin it, and Republican leaders are trying to protect the NRA and the rights for everyone to own guns. Here's the thing. Why are people... And this is because they have now been more lenient on the laws when it comes to gun control, especially in areas like Texas. Most recently, they removed the age limit for people to go and get guns. Nobody should be able to go get guns at an age younger than 21, but you can use... You can't drink, but you can go obtain an AK. But why? That's not wild to y'all? Kids that have, just because I'm having a bad day, people that don't like black people, and then these people that are getting these guns, they know what they're doing. These are copycats. This person has been online. The shooter from the elementary school has been online talking his talk about what's going to happen, having conversations. And this goes back to me saying, I don't understand why these pages and these people aren't flagged when brought to the attention of these social media pages and things like that, of those leaders. Because it's funny, we will talk about so much how, I got into an argument. I got to go back to this argument that I had about the RICO and how I was saying that white organizations are always online, literally telling you in plain sight what they're going to do. Not only white organizations, psychopaths. They're literally telling you what they're going to do. They're organizing online in hate group pages, and they are never flagged. There's nothing that goes on. There's no one that's associated within those pages. People that are associated within those pages should definitely be looked at, but they're not. They're not. We're looking at rap lyrics in Rico's cases, which may be okay. But also we need to look at when these shootings go down, these pages that are created, the people that are on these pages saying similar things and what they want to plan out, these things are happening in these hate group pages, and we're still here. And then they want to be lenient on the laws, loose on these gun laws. They don't want to talk gun control. If we say gun control to people like Ted Cruz, we get a lot of pushback.
Yes.
So, talk about Ted Cruz, to veer over to that.
And real quick, before you get there, I just looked up the cost of those backpacks. So there are actually several websites that sell them, and they start at $119 per backpack. They start at $119. I've seen some on there that's over $300 and something.
That is wild, and I'll tell you why. Who, especially in them areas,
Rebecca,
are able to afford that? I'm not sending my kid to school. $119 or life. My child's life costs $119.
On top of already having to pay for transportation, doing everything else for clothes and all this other stuff.
My kid stays home. A lot of people are thinking about homeschooling.
Yep.
A lot of people can't homeschool, so they're trying to find schools where they know somebody, and they know somebody who can know somebody who's trained somebody who could stay at the front door, or that front door has security or whatever. Back in the day, when you had security at your front door, that means your school was hood. That means your school was hood because the kids were bringing in guns or knives or whatever, so they had to have a metal detector at the front door so people weren't getting sliced and diced. That means your school was that's what it meant. You just lived in an area that was a little rough. They're going in now. You're going into schools and all kinds of areas where kids are getting shot up and all of this. Now it's like nobody. Ted Cruz put up a tweet and was saying something about the elite class are one of the ones who are dealing with this the most, or something he put up, because he's been saying a lot of trash things. So I wanted to. Amongst the trash things that he played before we play these videos, amongst the trash things that he said things that are like protect the people who are gun carriers and the NRA. And anytime he's asked a question, the questions always go to, well, basically, F them kids and F them people who are getting shot up. Guns rule. Like, it's just very immature wording. But let's take a look at one of the people who confronted him at a restaurant. I want to see this one. No. It's okay.
B1.
B1. Well, I was trying to follow the.
Why did you come here to the convention to take what money? Why? When 19 children died, that's on your hands. That's on your hands. That's on your hands.
So one thing real quick. Good morning, everybody. I've been silent the whole stream. Been quiet the whole stream, but I just realized because I didn't open this yesterday, and one of our other great producers, Josh, edited this. I didn't realize that this is a short version of it. So for those that, I don't know if you saw it, Rebecca, I don't know if you saw it, James, but this guy, the parent is actually a member of an organization. I believe he was there specifically looking to question Ted Cruz, and he started by taking a picture with him and then started questioning him while putting his arm around Ted Cruz, like his hand around his shoulder. And then all of a sudden Ted Cruz became defensive and then waved goodbye as he got, carried away. Just want to give the context because that was not the full interaction.
Okay. Well, the one I wanted to actually play was the one of him with the reporter.
You said all that, but
that's not what you said, Rebecca.
Because I'm trying to follow what's on the sheet. It's Monday morning for me.
That's B2. That's B2.
Yes. Can we play the one with the reporter? This is going to be the one with the reporter asking questions. And to Ted Cruz about why this only happens basically in America.
Is this the moment to reform gun laws?
It's easy to go to politics.
But it's important. It's at the heart of the issue.
I get that that's where the media likes to go.
No, it's not. It's where many of the people we've talked to here like to go.
The proposals from Democrats in the media, inevitably, when some violent psychopath murders people.
A violent psychopath who's able to get a weapon so easily. 18-year-old with 2 AR-15s.
If you want to stop violent crime, the proposals the Democrats have, none of them would have stopped this.
But why does this only happen in your country? I really think that's what many people around the world they cannot fathom. Why only in America? Why is this American exceptionalism so awful?
I'm sorry you think American exceptionalism is awful.
I think this aspect of it.
You got your political agenda.
No, it's honestly,
God love you.
Senator, it's not. I just want to understand why you do not think that guns are the problem.
Why is this just an American problem?
Well, it is just an American problem, sir.
Mr. Cruz, why is America the only country that faces this kind of mass shooting?
But you can't answer that. You can't answer that, can you, sir? You can't answer that. Why is this country?
Why is it that people come
I can't stand that man
to America? Because it's the freest, most prosperous, safest country on earth.
It may be the freest. It may be the most.
Why are our kids dying in schools?
Yeah, so it does. It does.
Disgust my soul.
It rightfully angers us. It does. And when I watched it, I'm like, but the thing is, I'm not surprised because I remember the same energy when I was watching the other shootings that happened there. Not only the shootings, but when they had their storm that happened there, and how Ted Cruz talked about COVID. But let's go back to mass shooting. This I say that to say that this particular leader and his people and his fellow folks that are leaders in the area too, locally and on the state level, they're not. This is how they think about their constituents. This is how they think about you. And who they will protect are the people like the NRA, because the NRA makes money. If we move to sell these backpacks and then sell the idea that America is the greatest and this doesn't only happen in America, and just give you words that don't mean anything, when the simple fact that the reporter is saying, why does this only happen in America? A simple Google search, though, for people who didn't believe what this was, Google will show you how often this happens in America. Yep. Compared to third world countries. Compared to third world countries, the percentage is great. America is dangerous as hell. It's dangerous to go to school. It's dangerous to go to the store. It's dangerous because people can get their hands on these guns. I don't understand why he sits here and he can't really have that conversation or just listen and walk away. Because the responses from these leaders just show exactly why they should not be in these seats. They do not care about the constituents. They don't care about the people. They don't care about anybody but themselves making money. And that is it. They literally are finding a way to capitalize on this moment. And that's pushing the fact, let's go ahead and put to the forefront where they can find guns, where they can buy guns that are safe, where they can find backpacks that are safe. The communities are getting hit with this the most are the elite communities, and this is what they're doing in the time. The NRA conferences, people aren't allowed to bring guns there. Make it make sense. So you want to protect them, and they can't bring guns there. And it's really giving me, I get so angry, but I can't get that angry because this is going to happen again. And I say that to say that man on Instagram, on Twitter, if you go to Ted Cruz's Twitter and you put in anything shooting, or if you put in thoughts and prayers, this happened so much through the years, y'all. This has happened so much through the years. He has copied and pasted his thoughts and prayers post from every incident like this that has happened. He says him and his wife send their thoughts and prayers and then yada, 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 yada. If you go on Twitter and put Ted Cruz and put that line, it comes up so many times in so many different years, different months, because it happens all the time. And that's very telling. It's very, very telling. I sit here and I tried my best to have a really good weekend and not think about what has been going on and what country we live in. But it was really hard. It was really hard. Like I said, I live in a predominantly white area, and I didn't want to really travel into the city. I don't like going into the city when it's holidays. I don't like going into Atlanta when it's holidays. But I wanted to stay in the area and just kind of go locally. And then I had to tell my sister, hey, let's not really go to this side of town or this side of town. She's like, well, girl, you live in that side of town. I'm like, well, let's just go where I know we can go and feel comfortable. These are things that we got to put in our mind. I know I do not want to be desensitized to what's going on. I do not want to be desensitized to what's going on. Me taking a break and trying to live my life is not me being desensitized, but me wanting to move on and not talk about it anymore is me being desensitized. When I'm on here, when I'm in these spaces, we did need those breaks. That doesn't mean I was not going to come with the new developments on these stories. If we're going to talk about gun control, we need to talk about gun control. That is the fact of the matter. I don't know why people are afraid to have this conversation. The conversation is gun control, y'all. I don't care which side of it on you want. We need to start having that conversation. Not only start it, we need to keep it, and we need to start making some laws dedicated to it where there's a specific age limit. People can't get it if there's no mental health checks.
The type of guns you're selling.
Why are kids walking around with AKs and just for free?
What do you need that type of weapon for in the public? Those weapons of mass destruction where you're trying to mow down several people at a time. Not even animals. You can't hunt with that. You're going to destroy and mutilate an animal if you hunt with that kind of weapon. What is it for?
I don't get it. I don't, you saying that, I really don't get it. They use that in war. They use that gun in war. So I don't understand why. I don't get how they think it's okay for kids to just get their hands on it. and go around and then capitalize on things to protect our kids from those type of shooters, but will not do anything to really push laws to control for gun control, but will go out there and push how safe the NRA really is, and how safe these areas really are, and what the real problem is, and then they'll go talk about immigration, because I don't know how that just the mass shooter just goes into the conversation about immigration, but they'll talk about how the border, the walls need to be put up, because that was the conversation too, and then they'll just say how keep our kids in school because it's really safe, and our teachers will protect your kids, and then these backpacks that cost $119 less than they pay the teachers, but get these backpacks and they will keep your kids safe, while the teachers who don't get no raises, who are scrambling on the ground for dollar bills to fund their classrooms to get the right supplies for these kids, will be the ones to take care of and protect your child. No raises though.
And the other part of that also, to tell y'all, those book bags don't block against rifle rounds.
Thank you for that. That's in the NBC News came out with that story after the sales have gone up on the Bulletproof backpacks. They said those really don't protect they wouldn't protect your child from a mass shooting. As effective as they are promoting them to be. Whoo, child. This is what we talking about. This is what they're talking about on the internet, okay? This is what they're talking about on the internet when it comes to this. They're not saying, let's talk gun control. They're saying it's immigrants it was a product of immigrants that did this, meaning that we need to put up the wall. It's not our fault that these kids in these certain areas can obtain guns, or you need to make sure that your kid is just knowing what to do when a mass shooter comes in the room. These are the conversations. These are what our leaders are talking about. These are what the people who got money and who just want to hold on to their guns are talking about. It's funny how when you want to be pro-gun, less control, that when it happens to you, all of a sudden you're shifty and you're on the right side of things. Don't wait until it happens to you. Don't wait until it happens to you. America is so unpredictable right now. We don't know. This thing is happening in churches. This thing is happening in apartment complexes. This thing is happening in housing areas, ones that are upscale. These things are happening in schools. And it doesn't matter what the school looks like. It could be the rich school and it could be the school in the little rural area. It does not matter. These cases are happening all over the place. You can go grocery shopping too. And some psychopath, and it doesn't have to be because you're black. Well, some psychopath can come in there and just start a shooting spree. This has happened like a few years ago at a grocery store, and they left dead bodies on the ground from the parking lot to inside of the store. Texas has had, since 2015, numerous mass shootings.
Yeah.
And that's the leaders. And I can't even be mad at that representation, because I know where I'm from in Florida, it looks the same. Because when it happened in Florida, it was the same conversations. They refuse to have that conversation. NRA comes out with the same damn information, with the same thoughts and prayers, and they say that let's not focus on that. They put that in their their commentary. They put that in their press release. Let's not focus basically on the guns, because the guns aren't what kill people. It's the person. The access to guns, guys. The free access to guns is what kills people. You know how it is, how easy it is for people who are underage to go get these guns. And then they can't drink, they can't drive, but they can get these guns. Somebody's having a bad day, somebody isn't feeling themselves, somebody's feeling like they hate their lives, they're going through a teenager crisis, they're going through whatever, but they can get a gun though and go shoot people up. Or these people who don't like people because of the color of their skin can create these hate groups online, playing out the whole massacre with people just adding their tidbits to it.
Yep.
And go out and then go and kill folks and then go plead insanity. That just happened. That just happened.
And you know, Rebecca, tomorrow is the first day of Pride Month. And honestly, I'm a little scared for the month. You know, just because people are doing some real stupid shit these days. So now when you have a big ass celebration like this, especially a whole month of just for the LGBTQ plus TIA, whatever it is, community, my people, I mess it up every time. It's kind of scary to think about, especially because it's events everywhere. It's major events in major cities all over the place. And so it's just like, don't know what to expect, especially with everything that's going on now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's hard. And for me to think about people who do this, it happens in the workplace. I ain't mentioned that. Nobody is safe. It happens in the workplace as well. Whew, Lord. Now, I don't know really where to go from there to protect ourselves. I don't have really much to say because America's not protecting us. I don't really know what to give you guys because I don't know. I don't know. But I think that the conversation should be more surrounded around gun control, and we should focus on the lives that have been lost, because this wasn't just 10 months ago. This was just yesterday. I know it's easier to think that we should move on because that's what is normalized today in this country. Move on. Don't think about it. It happened and whatever. But when it happens near you, now we feel like we should be focusing on it. We should be rallying in the streets. We should be protesting about it. Yeah, let's not wait until it happens to us. Let's start making the conversation more fervent. Let's start, highlighting that there should be laws, harder, stricter laws around obtaining guns, especially in America. You got places like Australia who did away with guns and have not seen a massacre since, or any type of shooting incident since.
China. I think it's China's, their gun laws and the stuff that you have to do to get a gun in China. I'm just like, why have y'all not adopted this over here, where you have to go through background checks, mental health checks, doctor checks? You have to go through several checks before you're able to get a gun over there. And it works. Why is it so hard for us to adopt these types of things? Because what is it, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment? It's a gun. You don't need this type of gun around here, man.
They can't even. They live in areas they can't even afford to eat, and they worried about having guns, and it's terrible. And it's such the wild, wild west type of ideal to live in out here that even people who don't want guns carry guns. And now we're starting to see more children, because of people who want to keep themselves safe and protect their homes. We're seeing more children get access to where these guns are located, and we're finding children, utilizing it and accidentally shooting themselves or a parent or whatever, or it going off. We're seeing more of those too, because we're trying to protect ourselves from the people who are out here with these damn rifles, and we're trying to protect our kids. It's a lot. It's a ricochet. But guys, let's try to keep the conversation surrounded and going, and not forget those people also that died at Tops Grocery Market. Those black people that died there, or the children that recently died. And I don't even want to forget, Sandy Hook's kids. I don't want to forget none of it.
None of them, right?
I don't want to forget none of them, because this happened here. This happened here in America. And as long ago as Sandy Hook's was, this is exactly the same thing. And how the Republicans are trying to push it under the rug and give their thoughts and prayers, it's exactly the same thing. They don't want to discuss gun control. All right, so let's move towards one more story before we get out of here. You guys know how much I'm in love with Mama Anita Baker. I love her so much. I really do.
I wish we had that clip. You remember that clip when
of me and you when we first started? Yeah, that was those were simpler times. Very stressful, but simpler times. Right. Very stressful, but simpler times. Anita Baker, we know, has since received the masters to her music, because she was telling us not to stream it because they owned it, and she wanted all rights to her music, and we know that. She's now doing her, what is it called? What they do when they are the in
farewell
Vegas
tour?
Yeah, no, it's not the farewell tour. Now she's doing she got a what is it called? Residency. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, they have a residency, and she has a residency in Vegas, and it's great because everybody's going out to see. I need to go out there and see her. But she, during one of her shows, she thanked Chance the Rapper. According to the Griot, at a recent performance, the legendary songstress, that's what they call me. That's my name on Instagram. But the legendary songstress Anita Baker shared that Chance the Rapper was instrumental in helping her regain hold of her master's records. Baker was embroiled in a long fight with her former label for control of the recordings and emerged victorious in 2021. After stepping out of retirement, Baker is now in Las Vegas for a limited show residency. If I continued to read, I would have got the word here too. With tickets already sold out. While on stage at the Venetian Theater on Sunday, May 29th, Baker took a moment during her set to point out the Chicago artist and publicly acknowledge his role in helping her. The rapper, whose real name is Chancellor Bennett, humbly stood and saluted the crowd before retaking his seat. The moment was caught on video and reshared by Chance's brother, Taylor. Chance displayed his excitement in the spontaneous moment. That's spontaneous for me. Let's take a listen to what she said to Chance.
Would you guys say hello to a friend of mine by way of the music industry and by way of helping me? Yes. Helping me to get a hold and ownership of my master recording.
Yes.
To be able to do that,
I love it.
It's such a beautiful thing. I mean, we're talking about Chance the Rapper, whole nother era, whole nother type of music, and we're talking about Anita Baker. I mean, the way that he made sure that she was taken care of, that he made sure that she got her masters. She couldn't do it alone. No matter how prominent she is in the music industry, she couldn't do it by herself. And we would have never thought, who would have been like, oh, Chance helped her. We would never knew until she said that. Like, we would have never known. And that's a beautiful thing. I love that he was able to tap into his Music Connects or whatever he had to do to make sure that this legend remained legendary, that we were able to purchase her music, and that she got every dollar due to her, and how she's doing her thing. What's so funny?
Dwayne said, why she up there looking like Regina?
Y'all ain't no good. See, this is what I'm trying to work. That's why I don't be in Slack. I'm trying to work. Don't disrespect my queen mother. Do not disrespect my queen mother. Don't do that. See it. You know what? Shouts out to the original songstress, Laura Estrada. I did receive my cocktail money. Thank you for the thank you for the don't play with my queen mother. Anyways, thank you for the Cash App. Thank you also Latif for the Cash App. It is Tuesday. I'm gonna go get me some tacos up the street. And I'm gonna get a cocktail, and I'm gonna relax my mind and chill and eat these. Hey, baby.
Oh.
Anyways, thank you guys for that, though. I really appreciate you guys. I missed you guys during the break. I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't even gonna hold you. I was trying my best not to hop on my camera, but let me tell you too, I would never be disloyal to y'all, because I'm gonna tell you what happened during that break. The Hill was like, Rebecca, you want to come on a few times this week? I was like, no. If I'm not going on to my show, I'm not going to go on to your show. That's just what it was. I made sure I was loyal. I made sure, because I love home, right? So I had to make sure if I'm going to take a break, I'm going to take a break. And if I'm not feeding, if I'm not pouring into the people on my show, y'all ain't going to find me this week or that week. But I'm back working, so I'm all over the place. And I'm also in the office now, y'all. So, you know, that means that I won't be as much on this. Huh?
Are you here tomorrow?
Yeah, it's just, right now I'm trying to make it work as best as I can. And I know David has asked me for what it looks like with my schedule. I haven't been able to really hone in on what that may look like. So, because it's still all over the place, I'm trying to figure it all out. But every opportunity that I get, you guys, I will be right here with you. Right after this, I'll be at work. So every opportunity that I get with you guys, I'll be right here with you guys. So bear with me as we try to iron out these details. I may not be with you full for the weeks, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm trying my best. And, we're here. We're here. We're making it work. I love you guys so much. We're at the end of the show. I know we're ending a bit early, so your girl can get prepared for this work day.
Exactly.
I love you guys so much,
and don't worry, y'all. I'll be here, most times. I like it better when I have Rebecca being here, but Ben.
I don't know if Ben is showing up for us anymore, but we're gonna show up. I don't know if Ben is showing up for us on this show anymore, but we're gonna show up. That's one thing about it. So if you love us and you mean it and you want us to be free from our jobs, you know what to do. Our Cash Apps will be somewhere in the chat. But I love you guys so much. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope that you feel free today. I was looking at some birds fly out my window. I'm like, dang, I wish I could be like a bird and just fly where I want to go. Oh. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not like a pigeon, but like a dove, but a dove is a pigeon. You know what I'm saying? Why is the dove called a pigeon when it's black, but a dove when it's white?
But it's white? Get the hell off the camera, man. I want to be a superhero so I can fly around and just fly like that. I'm good. Don't make me no bird.
I love y'all. Bye, y'all. Have a good day.